Good evening, everyone, and thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I'm Michelle Gollapalli, and I'm the Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion and Development here at ECRI. And tonight, I have the distinct honor of being your host. I'd like to welcome every single one of you joining us here this evening, and for those of you who are joining us via the live broadcast, thank you for being here. Today is an incredibly special day for ECRI. It's one that we've waited for quite some time now. We are literally and figuratively on the brink of an extraordinary transformation for this organization, one that will help us and empower us to fulfill our mission in a stronger manner. Right now, I have the incredible pleasure of bringing up to the podium Rick Arons, who is the chair of ECRI's Board of Trustees. Rick has just been retired from Corn Ferry, where he served as managing director. His expertise really is in medical devices and the diagnostics industries, and Rick has helped many organizations in a wide spectrum, whether it's Global 1000, Fortune 500, fast-paced, and even startup companies. Rick's expertise truly has been such an asset in his leadership of the board, helping guide ECRI's new strategy going forward. Please join me in welcoming Rick Arons.
Wow, that was very kind, thank you. Is this building anything short of stunning? I have some remarks. I'm going to keep them brief because I know you want to get on with the cocktails and the hors d'oeuvres, so I won't get in the way of that. Everybody knows never get in the way of food, right? Let me say how happy I am to be here. If you've been around a while, you know that I used to come frequently, several times a year, and I enjoyed walking the halls and meeting the people and learning what you were doing. And unfortunately, like so many things, the pandemic derailed all of that. So here we are. I think we're on the on-ramp to a better time, and I promise I'll come back more often. Today's the culmination of 5 years of work. I joined the board just over 5 years ago. I think Marcus joined about 5 years ago. When I first came here, I saw the building. I went, it really didn't measure up. It really didn't measure up to the quality of the work that you were doing and the potential that ECRI had. I think that comes as no surprise. Then to see this, it's like, say I'm just simply stunned. In the ensuing 5 years, we have a new CEO, we have a new leadership team, we have a new strategy, and boy, has it paid off. And you can tell that just by looking at the financials, our client list, and the growth that we're seeing every day. It's really very special. But none of those changes would be effective without the support without the support of each and every employee. It's down to the employees, not the leadership team. And my hat's off to all of you as well. I also want to congratulate the Supernova team. Raise your hands if you're part of that team. I think you've done a stellar job in putting something together here. Now, I want to assure you that the board has been observing all of this, the progress of the organization and the transformation it's gone through, as well as this building. We're all very proud of that, and we follow it via Marcus's newsletters every week. We follow it with the press releases that we've seen, and we follow it with our quarterly board meetings. So I want to assure you that I speak for the board, and I know I've got a couple fellow board members here. Ralph Muller and David Mayer are here. I don't know if Tony Vincent, retired emeritus board members here. So the board is represented, and we're very proud of everything you're doing. Now, I don't remember much from my high school graduation. It was several years ago. But I do remember one thing, the paradox of calling a graduation a commencement. That's curious. I just finished 4 years of hard work, and they're saying it's a commencement. What does that mean? It was explained to me that a commencement is a beginning of the next phase and not the end of the first phase. And in that spirit, this building and dedication of it is a commencement. It's the future of ECRI is embodied here. This building and the programs within it confirm ECRI is here to stay. We now have a home that's worthy and conducive of collaboration, hosting events, entertaining clients. Congratulations to all that made that happen, especially that Supernova team we just talked about. And on behalf of the board, I wish everyone here only the best for the next phase of ECRI as we move into that commencement. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. And now it's a privilege for me to introduce to you Marcus Schabacker, our President and CEO. Dr. Marcus Schabacker has the distinction of being only the third president in ECRI's rich 54-year history. He's a board-certified anesthesiologist and an intensive care specialist with a dedication and decades of experience working in both the medical device and the pharmaceutical industries. He was born and raised in Germany, but spent several of his formative years in South Africa at a rural hospital where he served as the chief medical officer. And it was there, those lessons learned in Nelson Mandela's post-apartheid Africa, that really formed the core of his values for healthcare leadership. Because today, that comes 2021 in recognition for ECRI's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dr. Marcus Schabacker.
Good afternoon. Oops, shouldn't do that. It is a true privilege to be here. Thank you very much for the very kind introduction. And as Rick said, I'm simply stunned. So I've, of course, been somewhat involved in this coming together, but when you see it, and more importantly, when you see people in it, because it's a building for the people, it is even more stunning. So this is 15 years in the making, 54 years in the making. And it's our rich history of being the largest patient safety organization in the world. And we are committed to this legacy, and we want to continue it here in this fantastic new building. This new building symbolizes the transformation you've heard before, but I want to go a little bit more into it, which we have undergone over the past 4 years. And in all honesty, when I first set foot in this old building, I was about to turn around and said, let me get out of here. Because for those of you who remember the old building, have seen it, it was truly something out of the 70s. Orange carpet, steel cases everywhere, 6-foot cubicles where everybody could hide behind. And the most interesting feature I found were these signs on top of the ceiling where you see exit. It would not say exit, it would say quiet, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. And so I said, oh wow, okay, this is different. This is different. And so since then, we all, this entire organization, worked on the transformation to continue what we do best, which is helping our clients and members to make healthcare better. And our mission is to advance evidence-based and effective healthcare. And we have been doing this in a way where we are the only global independent authority on healthcare and technology, truly independent. As a non-for-profit, as one where we have the strictest conflict of interest rules in the industry, we speak truth to power. And no matter who the power is, if that is a manufacturer who is having a not so good device, if it's a healthcare system which is not doing the right thing, or if it's even the government who might not be making sense to what they are requesting of us. We speaking truth to power to those who ask for it, and even sometimes if they don't ask for it. We have tens of thousands of clients all over the world. ECRI is a global organization. This is our headquarters, but we have offices and laboratories in Kuala Lumpur. We have offices in Dubai. We have offices in London and the Netherlands. Our clients are healthcare organizations of the entire spectrum: providers, payers, government agencies here in the US, DoD, the VA, HHS, PCORI, healthcare ministries all over the world, aging care services, manufacturers, payers, and so we cover the entire spectrum of healthcare. What we continue to do is to provide this unwavering commitment to making healthcare better. They trust us because we provide this unbiased evidence and the deep expertise, and additionally the power of all the data we have collected over the 50 years. And this building is certainly symbolizing on how we do this. We're based on deep-rooted cultural values. These values are transparency. You haven't seen the rest of the building yet, but when you will see that everywhere is light, everywhere is openness. That also talks to integrity, collaboratively getting to a better place. We want to have impact. This lab here, this is where it all starts. This crash cart is where it all started 50 years ago. It's about the impact we are having on making healthcare better. So those are some of the key aspects why we designed this building in this way. The past 2 years have been very challenging for all of us. And when we came together, and you heard about the Supernova team, this is actually a group of employees, 45 in total, from all areas of the organization, all levels of the organization. Because when we sent everybody home on March 14th, we didn't know what the next months, weeks, years were going to bring. And I knew that the best way to tackle this was to ask our employees on how are we going to do this. And they came together, they supported us, and they were instrumental in developing the philosophy of this building and how we're going to work. We were one of the first organizations who adopted a hybrid virtual work style. Now, what does that mean? It means that we leave our employees the choice on how and where they want to work. If they like to work at home, they can work at home. If they like to come to the building, they can come to the building. If they want to collaborate, they can collaborate. And just to give you some figures, we had about 450 workspaces here, Pete? Originally. Yeah. We have right now 140 individual workspaces, but we have over 200 collaborative workspaces. So that just tells you on how our employees told us we're going to be most effective, and we listened. So this is the concept of the virtual organization, and we want to continue to drive that to have the most impact for our clients. Some of you are here today, so thank you very much for coming. And this building in its purest essence is a beacon of the truth we speak. And I'm very hopeful and excited about that all of the employees after today can experience this. And today we remind ourselves on what that mission is and what that vision is we stand for. And the vision is that we create a world, help create a world, where healthcare, quality healthcare, is accessible to everyone in the pure spirit of health equity. But today is also the time where we need to remember how it all started. We stand literally on the shoulders of those who came before us, and we continue their legacy. And there is our commitment to continue what they started, what they kept on going. Without them, we would be nothing. And we hope we do them pride. So, such a transformation of a building like this, in an organization like this, doesn't happen by itself. I mentioned the Supernova team, but there's one man way and above all. Without that person, it would certainly not have been possible. And I know Michelle's going to introduce him in a minute. But I wanted to give a special thank you to Pete Catalano, our Chief Financial Officer. Thank you. So first of all, as you all know, a Chief Financial Officer is responsible for getting you the money, right? And he did, at very favorable terms. I am glad that I was not, do we have our friends from TD Bank here? I'm glad was not sitting in your chair, because I know him. He is a ruthless negotiator, and I can only imagine how many times you rolled your eyes and said, "Oh no, not Pete again. Let me get off the phone." But then he also found us, our partners, our construction firm, Urban Enlightenment, and our architects, Myers, who designed, developed, and then built this place. Without him, our dreams, our ideas, our vision would have never come together. So Pete, thank you very much. We'll owe you. Thank you. We will hopefully have a lot of fun this afternoon. As Rick said, I don't want to stand between you and food and wine, so I'll keep it here. Michelle, you want to introduce Pete? So thank you very much for coming. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm so excited to see this building come into life. Thank you.
So now I get to introduce one of ECRI's favorite people, our Chief Financial Officer, Pete Catalano. In addition to being at the helm of all of the key financial decisions here at ECRI, a few years ago, Pete took on the additional role of being the executive project manager and helping in this entire building transformation. With his keen eye on the budget and his superior skills in being able to collaborate with both internal and external stakeholders, Pete truly did what most of us can only dream of, and that's change a concept into reality. So Pete, we'd love to hear more about the project. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. All of that is, can you hear me? That was just too nice. There's so many people involved here. Let's not get the idea that I was that instrumental. But, you know, I wanted to say, when COVID sent everybody home for a couple of years, about 2 years ago, and everybody settled into their work from home mode, it wasn't overly intuitive to say, let's go spend a lot of money on our office space. In fact, most of my colleagues in corporate finance were finding ways to get out of their commercial real estate obligations at that time. And, but you know, ECRI zigged, everybody else zagged. And it's fitting. It's fitting. It's very much in accordance with our heritage of independence. And that's who we are, independent thinking. So I just want to thank our board, Rick, our executive team, Marcus, for taking the long view here. The ROI, in the language I speak, return on investment on this building is about as high as it gets because the return is saved lives. So there was no question in my mind about doing what we did here. Some of the things you guys will hopefully see in a little bit, about Marcus mentioned about the world-class independent medical device evaluation lab that to my left. We look at safety, we look at usability, human factors, cybersecurity features. We have an environmental lab, an accident and forensic investigation area, a replica hospital room, and an observation area there. The building was designed, you'll see as you go through, the theme will be collaboration, and as Marcus said, transparency. And I think you can only appreciate the transparency aspect if you were fortunate enough to step in the old facility, where, let's just say natural light was at a premium. So that's for sure a big change. The future, we're very much hoping to, well, we've started to envision a third floor, which is now a shell, conference center, for area hospitals to use free of charge if they're holding conferences that are in line with ECRI's mission on patient safety. So we're really crossing our fingers that our earmark gets approved. And you'll also notice some other things in this building. Obviously, the lots of windows, but something that's not there is the corner offices. So we're not putting offices in this building. You'll see it's wide open, and a hoteling system so that we can be as flexible as possible. Those were some of the things that Meyer helped us bring to life. Marcus mentioned Meyer, our architect, but I have some others I want to thank real quick. So yes, Irwin and Leighton. I know Travis isn't here, but Travis, Dan, Tim, Kyle, Kathy, you guys were the best partners we could have had on this project, and I want to thank you very, very much. Couldn't have done it without you. Our partners at TD Bank, and I don't know, Emily, where are you? Okay, over there. I wish Jeff could be here too, Jeff Brandon. If you ever need a bank-qualified, tax-exempt construction loan with a swap, those are your people. I want to thank the township, Lord Nestor. I want to thank the fire marshal, and so many more. Our own facilities people, Chip, Cam, Mel, the bright guys who are here to help us out, and of course the Supernova Committee, without which this wouldn't be here, or if it was, it would really stink. So, so thank you very much, and enjoy the building.
Thank you, Pete. I'd like to call Marcus back up to the stage here because we have some thank yous that we'd like to give out to certain people that have made a big difference for us here. Marcus? Okay.
So yeah, before I do that, I want to call one special guest here. Tony, where are you? Tony? Where's he going? Tony, come on up here, please. You got to come.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good, Tony. So I want to introduce Tony Vincent. He is a board member emeritus. He's been here for...
Hello, Canada.
Yeah. He's been here for a really, really long time. And he was the caretaker of the old facility. In fact, this man mortgaged his house in 2000 to prevent ECRI from going under.
My wife didn't agree with that.
There's nobody...
Didn't know.
There's nobody bleeding more ECRI than Tony. And he kept this place alive and going with minimal funds. And he set us on the right trail. And I just want to thank you for the decades of service to ECRI and its employees and the community at large. Tony, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I saw so many familiar faces and so many beautiful new faces. This place is fantastic. You're going to prosper here, you're going to enjoy it, and it's going to be a phenomenal experience for the future. The reason I'm wearing a tie today, I'll tell you a little story. There was an old man selling ties in the desert, and an old man came up on his hands and knees begging for water, and he said, "I don't have any water, but I can sell you a tie for $5." He said, "I don't need a tie. I'm not going to buy a tie from you." He said, "Look, I can help you. Over that hill, there's a restaurant. They have plenty of cold water. Just go over there." So the man limped over the hill, And about an hour and a half later, he comes back on his hands and knees. And the guy selling ties said, "What's the problem?" He said, "They wouldn't let me in without a tie."
We would have let you in. Don't worry. Thank you for coming up. Thank you. So thank you, and our special thank you go to Rick Arons as the chairman of the board. So this whole transformation we've been talking about over the past 5 years would have not been possible without the support of the board. So if Ralph Muller here and David Mayer, the other board members sent their regards, but no one has been more supportive of the board and going along with some of my crazy ideas and the things I wanted to do here together with our people than Rick Arons. So thank you very much for our partnership and your friendship. Thank you.
People who know me know I think in metaphors and pictures and whatnot, and I see a kite. And the more string you let out, the higher it soars. And the board just let out the string.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope I gave the right back to the right person. Did I? Okay, good. Because I think there's something different in here. Is that what I think it is? Okay, cool. I got to get it out. Sorry. This is for Pete. You already heard why I think he was so instrumental in this. Sorry. This is when well-intended people do things and I don't adhere to the protocol. So here, this is a hard hat for Pete when he goes into future negotiations with me. So thank you, Pete, for everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
See there? That's why it's called a hard hat. So there you go. Okay. Yeah, sure. Before we get going, send you on your tours, have you have some hors d'oeuvres, and so we have a special guest today, and we was actually not supposed to be here, but we're very glad that you made it. So, Congresswoman, do you mind coming join me here for a second? So, Madeline Dean, our Congresswoman, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you being here and supporting our cause. Do you mind saying a few words? Thank you.
I'd be delighted. I'm sorry I did crash your party, but I'm really pleased to be here. I'm the Congresswoman for the 4th Congressional District, Montgomery County, Berks County. So you can imagine when Coach Chiba of my team said he knew he was going to be here today, and if I got out of my last meeting early enough, I could be here today. I was delighted to do it for 2 reasons. Number one, I love the development in our district. What you are doing here is so extraordinary. I look at this beautiful room of diverse faces who are really challenged by the very mission that you talked about. So it's really exciting for us to see this kind of investment in people and in your mission to provide equity and excellence and outcomes in healthcare. And as you were speaking, Marcus, I had to tell you, there was a light on in here, and I love that beautiful glass corner. And I thought about perhaps you could develop another lab, because you're all about truth and speaking truth to power. Maybe we could have a policy lab for governments to come on in here and figure out what's true, what's not, and we would get the results from you in an unbiased, unvarnished way and in a really cool space. So congratulations to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Really appreciate you coming here. Appreciate all of you coming. Thank you very much. Michelle, I hand it back to you, correct? Right? So, staying to the protocol. And Michelle's going to we're going to do the ribbon cutting now, right? Yes. Okay. Okay, I'm just asking.
Now, just before we go into the actual ribbon cutting, we wanted everyone to know that we would love to show off our brand new facility through some very well-coordinated tours. We have our ECRI family that's been going through a lot of training recently to just make sure that they hit all the right notes to help showcase our beautiful space for you. In addition to the tours, those of you who are joining us via live stream, we hope that you'll stay tuned for just a little bit longer, because we also have a virtual tour that you will be seeing. And for those of us in the building, the virtual tour will be on select monitors throughout the space, so you can get to see that as well. And today, for the ribbon cutting, Marcus, would you like to take that on and talk about who will be?
Okay, thank you. So we have a special award which we give out every year, which is the so-called CIITI Award, which is a acronym for our cultural values. And we name each year that person who was most instrumental in bringing those values alive. And I'm very pleased to welcome, because we didn't have any celebrations over the past 2 years except virtual, so I'm very pleased to welcome the last 2 years winners, so 2020, which was our very own Rita Mayor. Where are you, Rita? There you are, congratulations. So. And then the 2020 winner, which was Jennifer. Jennifer, where are you? There you are. So these two ladies who just signify what ECRI's culture stands for, as it's compassion, integrity, impact, innovation, and integrity. They're going to do us the honors and open the building officially for us. So with that, I don't know, do we have a drum roll or something? Oh, toast first. So with that, please join me in toasting ECRI and its new global headquarters. Toast to ECRI. Cheers, cheers. Cheers. So, there we go. There we go. Woo. So we have you matched up. You want to talk about this?
The virtual tours. Yeah. All right. So those of you who are our external guests, please stay tuned because we would love to take you on a real life tour. So there are members from the ECRI staff that will come and find you. Either way, we hope that you will enjoy this evening, celebrate with us, because ECRI is going places, and we hope that you will come with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name's Nick. Thank you for joining me for this virtual tour of the new ECRI headquarters. Just a couple of things really quick as we get started. This is our brand new state-of-the-art atrium space. So as you can look, it's built from 3 floors, 3 stories from the ground up. We have turnstiles, which we'll go through in a minute. Our security desk is going to be right there, and we have a brand new elevator setting to go from the 1st floor to the 3rd floor. So yeah, come with me and let's get started. So we'll go through the turnstile first, which is really awesome. Any employee who has an employee badge can go ahead and badge on through the turnstiles, and it will let you through, and then you're officially on your way into the new ECRI building. So this is, I'm going to say, our grand entryway into what was the original foundation of the original ECRI headquarters back roughly 2 years ago. So as you can see, we have our brand new state-of-the-art 1st floor cafe, just a big, really awesome, flexible environment that allows people to eat throughout the day, as well as easily move furniture and stuff to do larger meetings, things like that. We have our brand new state-of-the-art device evaluation lab right over there, which we'll get an opportunity to go in a little bit later and see a little bit more of a breakdown of that, as well as our foundation of ECRI, our mission, ISMP's mission as well, and the Max Cart by Joel Mobile. So let's go take a little bit of a deeper look down into the cafeteria. So the really awesome thing about the cafe is that we do have plenty of microwave and refrigerator and freezer storage. Everyone's favorite's obviously coffee. So we do have different coffee stations, abilities to do tea, a really awesome live edge countertop. And then we do also have an outdoor patio where employees are able to go eat outside if they wish to do so. Up next, one of the really awesome things that's about our new ECRI headquarters space is we have a new Robin system where all employees are able to book their cubicles that they want to work out of, any of the focus rooms, huddle rooms, and meeting spaces that we'll go over a little bit more detail later. But there's also this really awesome state-of-the-art wayfinder that if you're ever looking to see where you are or where your spaces are throughout the building, you can look at one of these televisions scattered throughout the space. I kind of view them a little bit like a mall map where you have like a "you are here" situation where it tells you where you are in case you ever get lost. As you're looking on the screen, anything that is green, which right now a lot of the stuff is green, means that it's available for booking. So you're able to do that in the system, or there's little Robin Wayfinder touchscreens on all of the meeting, conference, and huddle room space doors, which we can talk about a little bit later. Anything that's booked will be yellow. Red means it's in use, and for workstations, if it's grayed out, it means that someone's utilizing it. Other things down this hallway, which might seem very familiar, is all of the bathrooms that we used to have are actually stationed in the same space as they used to be in the old ECRI headquarters. However, they're completely, totally decked out. They're really state-of-the-art. So if you ever are on site and get the opportunity to go in and look in a bathroom, I highly recommend it. For the purposes of this tour, we won't go through one, but yeah, check out the bathrooms when you get a chance and the opportunity later on. So then we'll continue down this way to our device evaluation lab. As you can see, we have some of our current members and employees working in there doing some device evaluation testing. The other really cool thing about the device evaluation lab is you might notice that these butcher block countertops are actually the old ones we used to have in the previous headquarters. So we got to bring some of our history and some of our equipment actually in here. So they are refinished and redone a little bit. But yeah, so this is essentially, I'm going to say, the open space part of the device evaluation lab. And we'll get to go a little bit behind the scenes and look at some other stuff in there shortly. And over here on this side of the behind the scenes lab tour is what we call the environmental lab. So it's really flexible in a way for the device evaluation team to do different types of testing that they need to. So then we have this on this side. If you come with me through the behind the scenes doors, as I like to call them, we have the actual device evaluation side of the lab. And as you can see, some of our employees are currently working in there doing the testing they do on a regular basis. So there's a lot of different mechanics and things like that they have around as they're testing on a regular basis. So this area is one of our open collaboration spaces. I'll go over a couple different things about what you'll see in some of them. The great thing about them, they're also diverse and versatile, so they all really have their own feel and stuff like that. So we'll just go over this one for now. They're all scattered throughout the building, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But as you can see, we have some different items. We have these, I call them open collaboration booths. They have a little desk if you want to have like a side-by-side meeting with somebody, or maybe potentially you're sharing a screen on your laptop, you'll go ahead to go into one of the booths. Over here, we have another part of our open collaboration space that has 4 different chairs set up. I find these really cool because they actually go ahead and they are versatile. If you don't want a large back, you're able to go ahead and pull them down, and then you're able to pull them back up. All open collaboration spaces have a TV where essentially as you're working, you're able to go ahead and cast your laptop screen into the TV if you need to share stuff. And the other thing I want to point out is in all the open collaboration spaces, you'll actually see some sort of mural and artwork similar to this one, as well as the red wall. So if you see a red wall anywhere throughout the building, that means it's an open collaboration space. So take a look around at all the different ones as you come through, and you'll see that they're all really true, unique, diverse, and dynamic. So open collaboration spaces. All right, so the last stop on our first floor tour of ECRI headquarters is our library. So if you ever need anything in relation to research materials, things like that, our library staff is here to help you make sure you get everything that you possibly need. So come down to the first floor, check out our library. And the one awesome thing I also want to point out as well is you'll see these signs throughout the different spaces at ECRI. All of the different room styles and things like that are named after a famous person in the medical community. So this area down here is called Blackwell. So it's named after Elizabeth Blackwell. So as you're ever throughout the building, go ahead and take a look and learn more about why our spaces are named after these famous people. And now we're on to the second floor of our ECRI headquarters. So as you can see, it's a very open environment. There's a bunch of cubicles down here, which you'll get a chance to go over a little bit more. I always like to point out what I call the flexible environment and the flexible furniture that every employee has access to. I call these the rolling poofs. Essentially, you're able to carry them around or roll them around to any desk you want. If you want to have a conversation with somebody who's sitting in a cubicle, you can go ahead and roll them. We also have portable desks that if you're deciding you need to go in a conference room, maybe stand a little bit, you can go ahead and use a portable desk. We also have whiteboards with dry erase markers and things like that as well, in case you're in a meeting and you want to go ahead and roll one of these into a conference room or even at your cubicle. And then we also have portable USB plug charger stations as well. So the only thing I always suggest, if you borrow any of these things, just put it back where you found it. And then we're gonna go ahead and take a little bit of a closer look at one of our cubicle stations. As you can actually see as we're walking through, all of our stuff is ergonomic. So we actually have standing desks now, which this one's actually in standing position. So there are standing desks that if you decide that you want to go ahead and stand while you're working or even sit, you have those options. And every cubicle also has a coat closet where you're able to store your belongings and things like that. And if you walk away, you can go ahead, take the key out, things like that. So that's a little bit more into the life of our cubicles. All right, up next, we're gonna show you one of our instances of a huddle room. So thing to know, wherever the door swings open, you click bloop, and your lights go right on. So this is a huddle room. They're all different versatile as well. They're made to hold 4 to 6 people. All of our meeting spaces, huddle rooms, and focus spaces are set up with a Microsoft Teams meeting, so you'll have an opportunity to interact with your colleagues from home using a Microsoft Teams tablet. So this is an example of one of our focus spaces. They're essentially designed for exactly that, focusing. So they usually have roughly 1 to 2 people in them. If you need to pop in and take a quick call, you're able to go ahead and do that. So as we walk on down to our second floor break room, this is one of our copy room areas. So there is one on each floor. This one just happens to do color and black and white printing. And then we have our second floor break room, which is very similar to our first floor cafe. We have our chairs. We have a TV for screening. There is an ice machine, coffee maker, microwaves, countertop, and refrigerator and freezer. So if you also want to have an opportunity to sit back, have lunch, you have your option of the second floor as well. All right, so on each of our floors of the ECRI building, we have a state-of-the-art wellness room. As you look inside, sink, refrigerator, trash can, chairs. So for any wellness needs you have, you're able to come on in and utilize one of our wellness rooms. They do have locks on them, so people know that you're in here and they won't be able to access it if you have to do something private. And they are also bookable through our Robin system. So this is our Nightingale meeting room. It's one of the example of our meeting rooms at ECRI headquarters. Again, very versatile. We have low top seating, high top seating. When you see any of these around the building, they have wheels and they have brakes on them, so you're able to go ahead and move them around in the space as you want to. And similar to all of our huddle rooms and our other meeting room spaces throughout the building, also set up for Teams conferencing, so in case you have people coming in from home and in the office, they're able to interact that way in a meeting space. So again, this is an example of one of our awesome meeting spaces. Thank you so much for joining us on this virtual tour of ECRI headquarters. 3 things I want to leave you with as we wrap up are some really awesome key features we didn't get a chance to really dive into today. The first one, in all of our bathroom areas, in between the 2 bathrooms, you'll find water canteen filling stations. So if you need to go ahead and get some extra water in your water bottle, you're able to do so. Second, outside on our patio, we have a weather sensing pergola that basically, as the weather changes, it will open and close based on wind, rain, things like that, etc. And finally, outside by our loading dock in the parking lot area, which you have 2 electric car charging stations that give you the opportunity to plug in your car and charge while you're on site. Again, my name is Nicholas Lipkowski. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.